going on, YouTube Nation? This is GB Merce. I'm going to discuss a stock, specifically a REIT that I have in my M1 Finance Portfolio. It's a very hot stock out there, and this REIT, as I like to describe, it's cold as ice. If you make an investment in this stock, you might have ice in your veins. It's a very impressive stock. I never even heard of this company, and it sold me right away because it's a very diverse stock, and this is something you might want to have in your M1 Finance portfolio, your Robinhood, your E-Trade, because I see a lot of potential in this stock, and I'll explain to you why. So make sure you hit the like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell button so you don't miss any future videos by me, because I really like this stock. And this is something that a lot of you guys have no idea, never even heard of, but this is something that might help you with your dividend portfolio. We all want to make money, we all want to learn, so this is something I just really want to introduce you guys to. Another REIT? Yeah, exactly. I'm discussing another REIT, that's all I talk about. Well, here's one thing, they have a tax advantage, okay? Because of the new tax law, it brought the corporate rate down to 21%, and lessening the public REIT tax advantage, but distinct advantage remains. So I like to refer to origininvestments.com. They made an excellent link on discussing why you should invest in REITs. I thought this was an excellent example, and I got to give these guys credit for that, so that's why I put their link in there. So REITs are incredibly dynamic and different from one another, and yet people treat them as a single asset class. When you bet in a REIT investment, you're betting on the sector. So there are student housing REITs, there are REITs with oil, there are REITs with trees, there are REITs with farms. There's a symbol called land that's invest in land. There's IIPR that invests in basically fields of growth of potential pot stocks and everything, or pot stocks. So there's really popular things out there that are invested in REITs. I know when I invested in the Bricks rate on richuncles.com, they have a specific private rate right now. They could go public, who knows, in the future, but it's a crowd-funded investment rate, and they invest in student houses, and they target the millennial generation. So this rate's very specific to what it goes after. And this is what really attracted me. And later on, I'll explain to you, and I'll refer back to this slide, why this is a really good rate, a very diverse rate, and one that people don't really think of, but really it's in demand, okay? So here's another thing. Very few assets have residual value when plans don't go expected. Stocks become worthless when companies go bankrupt, but the real estate they occupy still has value when those bankrupt companies leave. I can also add on to this. I mean, think about this. With real estate or with companies or with anything, say like if, let's just say I live in an apartment, if something happens to me, I'm going to be replaced right away. So, by a new person. It's not really forgive and forget. It's forget, clean up, have the next person in. It's just like that as a business. So if you're paying rent for, I don't know, let's just give an example, Verizon, but the tenant finds somewhere better, they're going to move locations, that building's still going to sit there, and somebody's going to get in there and have to pay rent. So that's the nice thing about companies. Or say like if you have, I don't know, a local coffee shop, and they go out of business, and all of a sudden Starbucks comes in that building. Well, guess what? The rent's starting to go again, so the occupancy still has value compared to that local coffee shop that went out of business. So it's just continuing. It's like feeding the machine. It's a machine that keeps on going and going and going. People have to have rent or go in there or have a business. I don't care if you are, I'll just give an example, like in the middle of a town, some of those goofballs that have the psychic analysis where they look at your hand and tell you all the wrinkles in your fingers that you are a dangerous person or something stupid like that. They're paying rent for that building. So once they go bankrupt and I don't know, let me give an example. I don't know. a Wendy's takes over, Wendy's is paying rent for that building. So, it's just being filled in right away. So this is what I like about AmeriCold Realty Trust. At AmeriCold, we're more than just connecting producers to retailers. They do food service providers and consumers. Our comprehensive services culminate from 115 plus years of delivering value and innovation. From leading the temperature-controlled warehousing and logistics industry with solutions our customers need. So this sounds pretty diverse and very specific. It's a very specific rate that, think about this, okay? Cold, okay? When you think of cold, temperature-controlled warehousing, okay? Think of food, okay? Because this is where I'm leading to. AmeriCold offers the most competitive temperature-controlled storage and distribution network available, supported by the most advanced technology and with a singular focus on customer service. By partnering with AmeriCold Realty or just AmeriCold, you can pay more attention to your customers, exceeding their expectations and growing your business. For more than 115 years, AmeriCold has been the leader in providing technology-based engineering solutions for the temperature-controlled supply chain industry. Our inspiration comes from you and producers and retailers and food service providers. We partner with daily to bring your passion to the market. I was trying to hold myself from laughing. But think about this. Food, okay? Cold food, okay? Eggs, steaks. We love steaks. Regional grocery stores. Look at down there. Look at right here. Regional grocery stores, okay? Our commitment is far from reaching full of purpose. We support everyone from local artisans to regional grocery stores, from national food producers to international food and beverage organizations. At AmeriCold, our innovation never stops. It is the foundation that helps ensure your success. Food, think about it. Cold food. We need food, okay? We need refrigerated food. We need eggs cold. We need steaks cold. We need chicken cold. I grill chicken like it's my job because it's cheap. And in some of my lectures that I've had in discussions, I always say live below your means to invest. Well, chicken's pretty cheap. So I'm investing, basically, I'm making a purchase at the store. I'm making an investment in myself to try to be healthy. And guess what? These guys are basically controlling and calling the shots, okay? It needs to be cold because if it's not cold, if the food's not cold, there's contamination, okay? So these guys keep the stuff cold so nothing gets contaminated. I mean, we hear about all these recalls and stuff, but really keeping things cold is very important when it comes to food and spoiling food and, bacteria, growing in an exponential rate where people get sick with, all these, diseases out there because stuff is not cold and at a controlled temperature. Here's their map. Here's their distribution. Here, it's close to where I live. I mean, I really like this map and this diversity. They're spread across the United States and the big cities too. Okay, Ohio's, I wouldn't consider, well, this is kind of by Columbus area. So Columbus is the biggest city in Ohio. You got California, population's way up there. You got the state of Texas right here. You got Florida. You got the SEC country over there. You have, the Midwest. This is just a very good distribution. These guys seem very stable and very strong. This is another reason why I invested in this company. Again, I'm not a licensed professional, but I really like what they have, their distribution and how specific they are, because we need everything cold. I mean, geez, you go to Texas, I mean, you want your steak, great, but it's got to be refrigerated so it doesn't go bad, prime rib or burgers or just anything. So here's some information about cold. As of October 23rd at 5:39 p.m., it's $38.42. The symbol is cold, as I was joking around and referring to with the symbol cold and it being cold as ice. Its dividend yield is 2.09%. Its payout ratio is 195.12%. The annualized payout is 80 cents. Well, it's kind of brand new, so it's just talking about the dividend growth, in X amount of years. So it really hasn't been really exposed yet, or it's just a strong stock right now. But I'm taking a risk and I put some money in. So here's them versus the S&P as of right now. They've grown 114.76%. It's 38.2. Again, they literally just started and they're new, but I really like the way that they're just growing at an exponential rate. And I see them growing. I see them being very strong in the future, again, because we need stuff that's refrigerated. We need food that's refrigerated. I mean, geez, I'm looking at my refrigerator right there. I have eggs in there. I have chicken that I need to grill. I don't really do dairy, but anyways, you need stuff that's cold. I have stuff that's refrigerated, like noodles and stuff that I'm going to eat before I work out with legs, just to get a little bit of carbohydrates in me. So it's very specific, okay? This is what I like about these guys. This is why I think they're going to be strong, and I really see a ton of potential with these guys. So here's our dividend payout. It started off on the 28th at 14 cents, and then it's a quarterly stock, so it's just going up. It's going up. It's going up. It's going up. Okay, it's right here. So it's growing. I see it's listed as a strong buy, a 3.57 out of 4, 67th percentile. So that's pretty strong. There's a number of ETFs holding these guys. You can go on dividendchannel.com and check them out to see which ones are part of it. Vanguard loves them. I love Vanguard. I mean, everybody loves Vanguard. I mean, they're one of the best out there. And BlackRock, I love BlackRock. I'm probably going to invest in some of their bonds probably in about a year or so, or just to have a little bit of diversification. But I really like some of those bonds by BlackRock and Vanguard. They do a very good job, and I just see the dividend just growing over time. So this is something that's very impressive in the way that these guys are growing over time. I wish I would have put some money in them earlier, but they are on my M1 Finance portfolio. I will show you my M1 Finance portfolio in a second. So I just made one kind of like hedge funds, aggressive strategies. I have Coke, Pfizer, Store Capital Corporation, which is a REIT as well, and Cold. So I'm trying to look at some quarterly dividends. I have about $400 in there right now. I'll probably throw more in to get these to grow. I throw in $40 a month just to have this grow. And I really like the growth that I've been getting. The return's been good. I just like it's very strong. So I like to have some diversification just on this pie chart portfolio. So this is something that has a lot of potential. I think in the long run with this one, there's like a special one where you can kind of follow the Berkshire Hathaway model, and Coca-Cola, I'm pretty sure, is part of it. So I might just buy individual stocks, Pfizer, in the future, and just have these two especially. I'm keeping these on there. I'm not doing anything with those, but I might just add the Berkshire Hathaway model and Pfizer. Maybe I'll just throw it in another portfolio, but that's a really good thing to discuss in another video just about pharmaceutical companies. And this is really a very aggressive stock. I really like the growth, and I think there's so much potential with AmeriCold Realty Trust. So keep an eye on this one. At least put this on your watch list. But again, I'm not a licensed professional, but I highly recommend you guys look into this and check it out and maybe put some money in it, because I see a lot of potential growth. Again, it's $30. I mean, look at how fast that blew up. And O's like $70 some. So you got to get it small, especially when you're young. Throw some money in, let the dividends reinvest over time. Because this is a great stock that you cannot, you shouldn't pass up on. So that's my honest advice for you. I just see it growing over time and kicking some ass. So going back to slide 2, the tax advantage. This is a rate. So the corporate rate is down 21%. This is dynamic. Okay, this is what I like about this. Incredibly dynamic and different, because this is about refrigeration. This is about keeping things cold. And unfortunately, gluttony's a sin. I mean, I like my steaks. I like my chicken. So it's got to be frozen and refrigerated before things are sent out. So this is the importance of that. If you look at, if you refer back to the earlier in the video, you're going to basically put some money in some stuff that is stable and in demand. Everything, I mean, food has to be refrigerated or it goes bad. I mean, that's basically the best way to sum it up. And if it doesn't get refrigerated, you're at risk of many, diseases and infectious diseases they go crazy because people are getting sick, and that could be because of temperature regulation. So I'll just give you an example. I know this has nothing to do with food or anything, but as a nurse, we have blood and it has to be refrigerated at a certain temperature, because if it's not, people are at risk of a bloodborne infection, or they get septic. And temperature is so critical with blood or food that you have to have it regulated and controlled, and these guys do a hell of a job. So that's my it's my 2 cents basically on that. And again, what happens if one store goes up, or one store does bad, or they decide to move? Well, these guys can take over or be somebody's going to fill in the building pretty quick. So if a company or a local grocery store goes bankrupt, usually another one takes over. I can give you an example where I've lived. There was I think it was like a place called Food for Less. I don't think they're around anymore. And then another supermarket took over. So, that's something to look into. And usually food doesn't go bad. I mean, food stores don't go bad unless they're not able to pay for rent. I mean, I'm just thinking of like BJ's and all these other companies that are really stable, and refrigeration, and I mean, it's busy. I mean, you go in a parking lot, I don't care if it's a local grocery store, it's always busy. I just find it very hard to believe that, or I find it really hard for a local grocery store business to do bad, because everybody needs to eat food, everybody needs nutrients, or else we won't survive. And people like me who work out, try to put on size, I try to buy a little bit more chicken. So chicken needs to be refrigerated. So again, thank you for watching this video. Make sure you like, make sure you comment, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit the bell so you don't forget, or you might be missing some videos. My advice to you guys, and I always say this, let's make some money, man. We're the dividend warriors out there. We want to be financially free, and we can get cold as ice. We can have ice in our veins with investing in the stock. This is just a really hot stock out there that I just see a lot of stability. I see a lot of growth. I see a lot of potential in it. And again, we can nickname, we can call ourselves Mr. Freeze, but this is really a good one. You're going to have some ice in your veins. I'm really happy with making this investment. I'm so glad that I just randomly did a search on something and I found this on Google, because this is in my M1 Finance Portfolio, and I'm probably going to start throwing some more money in because I'm picking up more shifts, and I want this one to grow before it gets too big and it's too late. So that's my advice. You always want to get things before they get too big and too late. I mean, geez, look at the McCormick stock. I don't have it within reach, but McCormick, I'm putting McCormick seasoning on stuff that's cold, like chicken. McCormick blew up pretty fast, and this one could blow up really fast. So I just want to let you know that it's cheap right now, so you should probably take advantage of that. Thank you for watching this video, and you guys have a good one.